Alright, so this is going to be my assembly, review and assembly of the SainSmart DSO138 Oscilloscope kit. When it arrives in the mail, I'll do a little unboxing here. So as it arrives in the mail, it's just going to come in a simple bag like this. I actually got mine in a like one of those bubble wrappers things, just an envelope. So not the best, not quite Amazon quality, but it works, So let's take a look at the inside. We got what they call a probe, which really is just a BNC to alligator clips. A true oscilloscope probe will have usually a ×10 compensator on the usually on the main lead, but close enough. What can you expect? It's like 23 bucks. So we have the main board. The nice thing is this board, it actually looks pretty nice. It's a little thin. It's pretty thin. I'd say probably about a 16th, maybe 8th. But it's pretty thin. This is pretty small. I mean, I'm probably going to end up mounting this inside of a box of some sort. But I think it'll be sufficient. Luckily, all the surface mount components have already been installed. So I don't have to worry about doing any of that stuff, which is fine. I would say this is probably about a beginner to intermediate level soldering. A lot of the holes are fairly close together. As you can see, they're pretty close together. It's a nice finish on it, nice shiny black. Everything's really well labeled. Should be a fairly simple install. Got a bag here with looks like connectors and switches. Bag here with just resistors. Looks like capacitors and maybe some trim pots. Whatever the hell this is, let's find out. Ah, this is the actual LCD display. So huge. Little 2.4-inch LCD display. And the last thing in the bag looks like a couple connectors and some transistors. So first thing first is I'm going to take all of the components and I'm going to lay them out and identify each one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the ohm meter on my DMM to figure out exactly each of these resistors and lay everything out and label everything so that I have everything out in front of me, ready to go. So I don't want to make a mistake as I'm soldering this thing up. So, all right. As a little note, all right. Main thing about this board, this oscilloscope, it does not come with a manual. You do have to go to their website and download it. It's not that hard to find. It does, and then the file comes with 4 different PDFs. The user manual, it's written in kind of crappy English, but it does kind of give you the steps that you need to each time they have a picture, and they tell you to like for instance, the first step is I'm going to install all the resistors. So then it has you go pretty much by component, installing each component one by one, and they have spacing wherever the fuck they feel like it, pretty much, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting trying to read through this thing, but I think it's gonna be well written enough to go. They even have an assembly of a PDF of the actual pins, like what each pin on each of these ICs does, which is useful. It's not gonna help me assemble this thing. I'm not about to take that thing off and mess with it. So. Especially the little processor right there, which is super tiny. So, yeah. Okay, so just organized all of the resistors. So let me show you. What I did is I just wrote down a number for each one, and value for each, and I measured each one of them. Now, my kit did fail to give me one of them on there, so I'm going to have to obtain that from somewhere. But they gave me 2 extras that I didn't need. Well, actually, they gave me 3 extras. They gave me 2 of them that I didn't need at all, and then they gave me 1 extra, whatever reason. So, saying something about SainSmart, looks like their quality control is not the greatest. So we'll see if there's any more surprises, given all the other components. So, all right, just a little bit about my my setup here. So yeah, got Spotify on, got my instruction manual up here on the other monitor. Got magnifying light. I call it my old man lights. And then down here I got my board going on. I'm using paste flux, and I'm running about 550 degrees with a whoopsie. All right, with I'm running the very fine tip. Come on, focus. Anyways, yeah, it's like a 0.8 millimeter chisel point. It's a very, very sharp tip. But that way, when I'm sitting here soldering, get the cord out of the way, I kind of just stick it down inside the hole and fill it with solder. So shouldn't take more than a couple seconds usually. There we go. This is the size of the tip I'm using. Yep, I'm going group by group, going from each value, going down the list. It's keeping the one I'm missing, but I can still install everything else. So yeah, just sit here and relax, listen to some tunes, and do some soldering. Now that the resistors are installed, I'm going to hook up these 3 inductors and these 2 diodes. Alright, so now that the resistors and the diodes have been put on, and also the inductors, also went ahead and put on see here, I put the USB port on, and these 5 tactical switches. And also the crystal oscillator right here. So next, I'm going to start putting on the capacitors. There's quite a few of them. So I'm going to put the capacitors and the LED. Alright, so here we are now. I got the capacitors are all installed. The switches are installed. This power jack is installed. And a couple of 2 transistors, which are here and here. So I got those installed. Next is I got a regulator and a couple more capacitors. And you see, here's my parts. It's slowly whittling away at all the parts. There we go. So now when I solder this up, I know everything is going to line up properly. So, alright, so here it is, all installed with all of the components installed. Well, minus the one I'm missing, but I'll install that later, which is right up here. I'm missing that guy, but other than that, everything's installed. The next step is a little bit tricky, and here's a little bit of a tip. You have to install these long pin connectors here, right? They have to go on the back of this. Well, easy way to do is you put them into the thing that they're going to go into, because it's important that they line up. And come on, because there's 4 pins. Here and here, here and here, and then these 20 pin right here. There we go. So now when I solder this up, I know everything is going to line up properly. So, alright, well, there you have it. Here it is completed. All you have to do now is attach a little 9-volt battery to that, and your leads go right into this BNC connector, and you're good to go. In the next video, I'm going to show you how some of the features and how this thing actually, how it works. So, stay tuned.